right, welcome everyone. My name is Matt Boda. I am the founder and executive producer over here at Get It Made. And this month we are featuring Paul and Jen Hodgins. Am I saying that right, Hodgins?
Hodgson, it's close. It's a tough one.
Hodgson.
Don't worry.
No worries. Well, it's so good to have you guys, and congratulations on being chosen as member of the month. This is one of the only writing duos that we have here, which it's really interesting when you have, two heads on one single screenplay. Sometimes it can be like a mix of voices that sort of clash, but in
Hmm.
this particular case, knowing your work, I think it really, you guys come together as one singular voice. And, we're just really excited to get you guys through that story producing and on to packaging. So today we'd
Yep.
love to hear about your screenwriting journey, sort of where you started, how you got bitten by the bug of the storytelling bug, what you're
Yeah.
working on. You can go through your portfolio, but then you can also let us know, what your premiere project is that you're working on with Get It Made, and where you see that project going. So without further ado,
Sure.
I'd love to turn it over to you folks, and let us know, about your screenwriting journey. Like, how did this get started?
Okay. Well, I mean, the current project that we're working on with Get It Made, we started writing probably about 4 years ago, maybe somewhere in the depths of the pandemic. And it's based loosely on actual events. Until the fantasy sequence comes in at the end. And then it just goes off into what we imagined could have happened if we'd got our way. Um, so that's where that came from. And we've been writing screenplays for a number of years. I wrote one probably first when we came here in 2000, and it's a very British story. It's about public transport. And I don't know what it's like with you in LA, but where we live, there is no
There
public
is no
transport.
public
So
transport.
it's a little hard to explain to people sometimes. But that's that we're still I've entered that in a bunch of competitions. It's won a bunch of competitions. We're not really anywhere in terms of getting that produced. There's another one I wrote based on a true story. Again, a friend of ours, he's actually a famous TV guy, John Burstein, who used to play Slim Goodbody on Captain Kangaroo. He's a great singer, a great actor, and he just happens to live just up the road from us, and he's a friend. And he went to audition for a community theater project of My Fair Lady, thinking he would automatically be given the part of Henry Higgins, and and he came away without any part offer at all. They'd given it to the guy who's been in the community theater company, and it was promised to him years ago, etc. So he's telling me this story. We're having coffee together the next day. He's telling me this story, and I am rolling around the floor laughing so hard. So I took this story and we put this screenplay together. Again, John Travolta used to have a house on the island off the coast here in Maine. So we thought who would get into that situation, and we thought of Kevin Kline. And so he's on his way to see John Travolta on the island, but John Travolta forgot that he was coming, so he's away. The house is locked. The police arrest him. They won't believe he's Kevin Kline, etc. So the next morning, Kline sees the ad
Community
for the
theater.
community theater production of My Fair Lady, goes in for an audition, doesn't get the role, and they give him like second dustman or something. So then he proceeds to just murder his way to the top of this, to the top. So everybody else is like dead or injured in hospital or whatever. So eventually they have to give him the role. Anyway, there's that one as well.
So that's like
Um,
a dark
it,
comedy, but
it
It
exactly,
is,
yeah,
again, it's very British.
yeah.
It's
yeah.
very,
The
very
humor,
British.
the
Yeah.
humor is very British. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, England and is just like a center for worldwide production these days. I mean,
yeah.
everybody knows about British humor now. I mean, it
Right.
was sort of niche before, but now it's like Hollywood is going and shooting all their stuff in Britain, and they're dumping a bunch of money into British TV shows. And one of my favorite shows is Peaky Blinders. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good.
There's some good stuff
And then
coming up
Ricky
these days.
Gervais, I mean, his
I know.
his British the original Office is just like
Yeah, yeah.
incredible. So
It's like my kids prefer the American Office. I think the British Office is unbelievably funny.
I prefer the American
She
Office.
prefers the American Office as well, but because I'm British and also because British people are truly mean, they like the meanness of the British version
yeah,
of the Office.
the dry,
Oh, oh my God, yeah.
awkward moments and silence is just like it's
Yeah.
pretty priceless.
Yeah.
I mean, the American Office is
Yeah.
great. There's a lot of great actors, a lot
It
of
is.
great
It's
actors
absolutely
were
fantastic, but it's much gentler.
And so
yes, it is.
I think with Mother Maryland's Motor Tours, the piece we've been working on with Get It Made, um, we nicknamed it in our family revenge drama because a lot of really, really bad, really traumatic stuff was happening with my mom who had dementia. My father, in his wisdom, decided to give the job of executor to my sister who has mental illness, and it just kind of progressed from there, and it became this awful 2 years of our lives. But we documented all of it, and then we're like, what it is it's revenge drama. We can take something that happened to us in real life, and we can. My sister was so fearful that we were going to kidnap my mom. Now I'm really claustrophobic. And you know what? The last place I want to be is in jail. I'm not going to kidnap anybody. All we wanted to do was take care of mom and
Yeah.
have her live here in Maine. So we use this kind of idea that there was a moment in real life where there was a car accident. It was the last time I actually saw my mom alive. She was out in Oregon at this terrible, terrible nursing home. There was this car accident. My cousin was there, and that's the point at which, am I giving away too much?
No, doesn't matter.
It's the point at which the story changes, the
Yeah.
story shifts, and we do in the film what my sisters were so afraid we were going to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And it's funny because I mean, basically writing the screenplay is trauma therapy. Um, and when we get to the kidnapping in the we're reading through it with Michael, right? And we get to the kidnapping, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't think you were going to have the guts to do that."
That's
well,
all.
we
I mean,
didn't in real life.
getting Michael to go, whoa, means that it's got to pack a punch. That's for sure. That's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh. Yeah, so
So
it has been very therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's been great to work on. It's been great to uh we had this thing where we had all these flashbacks at the very beginning of the film. And because we were determined, we got stuck in our head that the first scene, which is very dark, it's bare bones. It's very hard to watch. Um, it had to be the opening scene. And we got our heads so like caught in that it has to be that scene
Yeah.
that in terms of the timeline, we realized the timeline was a little off. We had to have flashback
Oh,
after
man.
flashback. And
We just tied ourselves up in knots, basically, and then at our last meeting with Michael, which we basically went through the whole rewrite and everything. We're like, it just popped into our heads. What are we fucking doing here? Why don't we just get the timeline in the right order? And we did it. We looked at the timeline and we're like, oh, that scene is the first scene of the movie, and it's just as good as the one we've moved.
yep.
So boom, all problems were solved. It was just like, oh my gosh,
get it
wow.
made, but keep it simple. I
Yep.
mean,
Yeah,
that was it. It was
yeah,
just, but it really worked out. It's stronger.
yeah,
Um, I love the fact that one of my favorite scenes, I get to kind of wait for it.
yeah.
It doesn't get used up in the very beginning of the film. And yeah, it's a testament to my mom, who was just this amazing character. And I would love to have her on screen
Yeah.
and to be in a movie.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, I mean, I haven't dove into the material since you've been working on it with Michael, but it seems
Right.
like it fits in, into a budget friendly sort of framework. Hopefully there's not too many elements that, sort of put us on the moon, and you know what I mean? And so when we start to work together on packaging the material, we will have to
Mhm.
sort of put that producer's eye on it. But if
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
or, there's a road trip sort of vibe to the movie, right? Like it has,
yeah, yeah, yeah. The last half of it is definitely a road trip. Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
But
great.
I
Well,
mean, Maine is, I mean, we have, there's so much that could be filmed in Maine.
Yeah.
the access
Um,
there. Yeah,
and,
Yeah. Yeah.
and because there's a big creative, even though there's not a lot of population, there's a very big creative
great.
economy where we live.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So combining our networks is going to be the key here to, to pushing this thing across the finish line.
Right.
Yeah, well,
Right.
I mean, it's so amazing to, to have you guys come in and, to really take to that story producing meeting, because that line by line, scene by scene sort of granular work is really where the rubber hits the road, because
Hmm.
you can make a bad movie from a good script, but you can't make a
Right.
good movie from a bad script.
Right.
So I feel like you guys have really just dug in and, done your part of that process. And then, how long do you guys feel like you're, how much more time do you feel like you need with your story producer to?
Michael basically signed off on us for the last meeting.
Yeah.
We went through we went through all the changes that we'd made in terms of sorting the timeline out and everything, and a few more. And then we went to the end because he had some questions about the end. We sorted those out as well. And he said, once you've got those in, I think we have a script. So I think that he's pretty confident that we're at a point where, we can move on to the next stage.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that, probably a good last step with story producing is like, okay, we've done all the changes. Let's go read it from beginning to end.
Hmm.
One last time, like
Right.
catch any of those little changes, make sure that, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, make sure everything
Sure
ties
thing.
up in a bow. And then right when
Yep.
that's done, Michael's going to let me know. And then we can start to meet about that packaging phase and what we
Yep.
can do, to start putting the thing together in terms of pre-production, seeing who is in our network, so in terms of directors and actors and things like that, to
Hmm.
actually build a
Hmm.
package and then
Right.
sort of put together a financing plan and things like that. So I'm super excited to get to that phase with you guys. I'm really looking forward to it. And, another good thing too that I always like to say is having a portfolio of projects is really important too,
Yeah.
right? So, we're going to work on this together and get it, into the packaging phase, but you'll still
Hmm.
have the story producer meetings available to you. So any of these other scripts that you have, maybe it's time
Right.
to start taking those in and start working with Michael. So, you can have
Hmm.
two irons on the fire. So when you're going to the market, you're not just trying to sell one apple, right? You've got a bushel
Right.
of things, a couple bananas, some oranges, an apple, things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Because it's always good
Okay.
to, when you have something and you do it and it gets done and it's amazing, they're going to come to you and they're going to say, what's next? And if
Yeah.
it's something that's a work in progress, it might stall that momentum that you get from that project.
Right. Right. And we have also a couple of shorts that we've written much more recently, within the last probably 6 months or something like that, that we've done table reads with the group,
Hmm.
and we took the feedback and implemented that and everything like that. We haven't gone back to do another table read to see if they
Yeah.
think that we've got it right or better or whatever. But that's something that's on our list.
Yeah. I mean, being a screenwriter and a storyteller, it's an everyday thing. It's a constant, it's a constant in your life,
Yep.
It just has to be, right? It can't be a Sunday morning, and then 4 months go by and you haven't done anything, right? It takes that consistency and dedication to really, because what we're asking
Sure.
for is we're making a Hollywood film that we want as many people as possible to see. And that's a
Oh,
big
totally.
ask. That's a big ask from the
Right.
universe. It's like
Yeah.
getting into the Olympics, I like to say, So, I think you both are just really putting in the time and the effort and the work that's required to do this. And, I can't wait to see what's next, especially, moving into packaging for this project. And, so it was so great to talk with you guys about, where you came from, where you are now, and where you're going. I think that, everyone's going to be intrigued to see, the future of, Paul and Jen's, project, and we'll keep you guys updated about that. So, Again, this was
That's
the
great.
latest Member of the Month interview with Paul and Jen Hodgsons. Did I get it right?
Close.
Oh, close. Hodgsons.
Hodgson.
Hodgson.
Yes.
Hodgson.
There you
You
All
go.
got
right,
it.
there we
Yeah.
go. Oh, that's a tongue twister. Well, this was such an amazing, interview. We can't wait to see where your project's going next. So we'll keep you guys informed. See you next time.